Most men move through relationships by guesswork. They react to behavior without understanding the structure beneath it. They get confused by contradictions. They take things personally that were never personal, and they keep repeating the same mistakes with different women in different situations, wondering why the outcome always feels familiar. The issue isn't a lack of effort. It isn't bad intentions. It's the absence of a framework. Without a framework, everything feels random. With one, patterns start to emerge. This isn't about judging women. It isn't about defending them either. It's not about turning anyone into angels or villains. It's about seeing what's actually there. What you're about to hear isn't designed to comfort you. It's not designed to confirm what you want to believe. It's designed to sharpen perception. And once you see this clearly, it's very difficult to go back to not seeing it. Human behavior is not chaotic. People don't act inconsistently without reason. Behavior follows patterns. Those patterns come from psychological configurations that form early in life and remain surprisingly stable over time. Think of it like this. Biology is the hardware. Personality is the software. That software runs quietly in the background, shaping how a person interprets events, assigns meaning, regulates emotion, and makes decisions. People aren't machines, but they are predictable enough that relationships don't have to feel confusing if you know what you're looking at. Every person has a psychological core, a fundamental orientation that shapes how they relate to the world. This core doesn't change much over a lifetime. What confuses most men is that the core doesn't appear directly. It expresses itself through roles. The same woman can seem warm in one context and distant in another, open at one stage and guarded later, playful with friends, serious at work, nurturing with children, reserved with strangers. This isn't deception. It's adaptation. Humans are social creatures. We adjust presentation based on environment. The mistake is assuming that one version is real and the others are fake. They're all real. They're just different expressions of the same underlying structure. The core shows itself most clearly under pressure. When someone is tired, stressed, afraid, or caught off guard, roles require energy to maintain. When energy drops, the core leaks through. Most people organize their psychology around a few dominant priorities. Some around attention, being seen, noticed, validated. Their sense of worth rises and falls with external recognition. Some organize around status, hierarchy, achievement, position. Relationships partly function as reflections of rank. Some organize around connection, depth, intimacy, emotional understanding. Being known matters more than being admired. Some organize around security, stability, predictability, safety. They're willing to trade excitement for peace. Some organize around experience, novelty, intensity, sensation. Routine feels suffocating to them. Some organize around control, order, influence, authority. They feel safe when directing outcomes and anxious when things feel chaotic. Most people are combinations, but one or two orientations usually dominate. You can often identify the dominant one by noticing what someone talks about when left to choose freely and what triggers disproportionate emotional reactions. Reactions reveal priorities. People don't present their entire psychology all the time. They present a persona, a social interface. The persona isn't a lie. It's a tool. No one can expose their full inner complexity in every interaction. Social life wouldn't function. Personas are selected based on goals: to appear warm, to reduce threat, to invite care, to establish value, to create distance or mystery. Socially intelligent people can shift personas fluidly. That doesn't automatically mean manipulation. The question isn't whether someone shifts, it's whether there's coherence underneath the shifts. Genuine personas feel grounded. Performed personas feel hollow, exaggerated, or inconsistent. If the persona is what's shown, the shadow is what's hidden. The parts of the self that don't fit the preferred self-image, traits, fears, desires, and impulses that were rejected, denied, or pushed down. The shadow doesn't disappear. It operates in the background. It leaks out under stress, intoxication, emotional intensity, or loss of control. The endlessly agreeable person may carry suppressed resentment. The fiercely independent person may hide terror of abandonment. The sexually confident person may carry deep insecurity or shame. The shadow isn't evil. It's just unseen. Understanding this changes how you see people. You stop idealizing them. You stop demonizing them. You start seeing them more completely. Most relationship behavior isn't driven by desire. It's driven by fear avoidance. fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, fear of being controlled, fear of being used, fear of insignificance. When you identify the fear, behavior becomes logical. A woman who demands constant reassurance may call it closeness, but the engine underneath may be fear of abandonment. A woman who keeps emotional distance may call it independence, but the engine underneath may be fear of loss of control. People will sacrifice something to avoid triggering their deepest fear. Someone afraid of abandonment may sacrifice dignity. Someone afraid of control may sacrifice intimacy. Fear predicts the sacrifice. This is why the same woman can feel like completely different people at different times. It's not necessarily deception. It's role switching. Healthy role switching has coherence. You can see how the different versions connect back to a consistent core. Problematic switching feels disconnected, like unrelated identities occupying the same body. To tell the difference, you don't listen to promises. You observe patterns. Over time, across contexts, watch who someone is when they're not trying to impress. Watch how they treat people who can't benefit them. Watch what emerges under stress, disappointment, or boredom. These moments reveal far more than curated presentations. Psychological strategies that work early in life often stop working later. This creates pressure. Healthy adaptation means adjusting expectations, developing new sources of meaning, and responding to reality rather than denying it. Unhealthy adaptation means clinging to outdated strategies, blaming others, and growing increasingly resentful as reality refuses to cooperate. How someone handles disappointment now predicts how they'll age psychologically. Most men don't observe. They project. They see what they hope is there. They explain away contradictions. They trust words over patterns. Réelle observation requiert patience. Time. Multiple situations. Attention to behavior rather than intention. The clearest data appears when someone doesn't know they're being evaluated. Women aren't chaotic. They aren't mysterious. They aren't incomprehensible. What feels mysterious is a lack of structure in perception. This understanding isn't meant to make you cynical. It's meant to make you clear enough to choose wisely, clear enough to protect yourself without closing off, clear enough to engage warmly without self-deception. Clarity isn't power over others. It's power over your own decisions. That isn't bitterness. That's maturity.